If you have been told that building an online business is simple, just find your niche, post consistently, and income will come, and you've done all that and it still hasn't worked, you don't have a work ethic problem. You have a framework problem. I'm Janine. I've built different businesses online and was able to bring in 50K in 4 months through digital marketing because I had built the influence and developed the marketing skills.
And I'm Natalie, and I built six figures over time, but not until I had a system and strategies in place. And that's why we're passionate about helping other moms like you to learn and develop too. So, together, we built Abundance Living Co. And in this video, we're going to tell you exactly why the full story, the mistakes, the obedience moments, and what we eventually built that actually works. So, stay with us because in this video, we wish we'd found this at the beginning.
So, when I first got started in this space, I really was starting from scratch. I grew up in chaos, trauma, abuse, just really instability, addiction, a teenage season that was hard in ways that I don't really share a lot publicly. I genuinely didn't think that I would live past 20, but I rebuilt multiple times. I got sober, I became a mom, I found Jesus, and everything shifted. I married my high school sweetheart, Jay. Now we have 5 boys. We homeschool them. We lived our dream life in our dream house out in the country. We had 6 acres, a big front porch, a willow tree in the front yard, which was like my fave. And then we sold it all. We sold it all to live and travel full time. So we started off with an RV. We did all the national parks across America. We did 3 years world schooling internationally and just like living life on mission. And so we had to have an income that would travel with us, that was flexible, that was residual, and really aligned with our faith. And I tried a lot of things, and some worked and some didn't. And then at one point I did. I made 50K in 4 months from digital products, and then I walked away from it because God said stop. And that obedience is what eventually led me here to a better model, partnered again with Natalie, my business bestie, and I kept hearing God say, build different. So we prayed and we felt led to create Abundance Living Co.
So my story is a little different, but the frustration was still similar. I was a full-time teacher. I love teaching. That's what I wanted to do since I was 6 years old, really. So I was kind of living my dream life at the time, but it got to be where I knew I didn't want to do that forever. And so I was barely too making enough. We were living paycheck to paycheck. And I thought, well, how am I supposed to support a family? And I had all these things I want to do, a vision for a life that looked nothing like the one I was now living. And so I wanted to fund mission trips without fundraising. I wanted to give generously without calculating whether I could afford it or not. I wanted to be home with my son every day, who at the time of this recording is 1 year old. And so not spending at the time 2 hours with him at the end of the day where I was just feeling drained already. And so when Elias was born and I had to go back into the classroom after 3 months of maternity, my husband fortunately got to be home with him, but while I was at work, I had built up some of this resentment that I didn't expect. And it wasn't necessarily towards my husband, but really at the life that required me to be somewhere that I didn't want to be while my son's days were happening without me. And so I persistently started building my business alongside teaching because now the desire was stronger. And behind the scenes, I was like just tossing and turning every night, wondering, okay, what are we going to do so I can come home? We can both be home together. We were watching savings dwindle and putting out content I knew was good, but was barely getting traction. And so at the beginning of building online, I was like a chameleon too. I was trying not to say the wrong thing. I was trying not to ruffle feathers and wanting to look or sound like others that I felt were successful. And often it derailed me because it would lead me to comparing or doubting myself instead of using that as inspiration and honestly just like learning to show up as me and like what my voice was. And so it ended up just laying some of the success that I had been praying for. And I knew that something had to shift.
Yeah, so here's what we noticed across pretty much every model we've tried and every woman we've tried to help is you're kind of made to feel like you have to be this like extroverted, high hype energy, like willing to hustle, having this certain personality and appeal. And at times, it just doesn't feel like you don't feel comfortable with the tactics that feel kind of manipulative. And especially if you're showing up as a faith-driven woman and your values filter how you show up, most of what is being taught just really doesn't fit.
Yeah, and so we see women who are consistent but not growing. You're posting, but you're not really converting, and you are building, but then you start to burn out because of the lack of the results. And so most of the time, it's not your work ethic problem. It's not that you don't have the talent. It's not, but what it becomes is a positioning problem. It's a voice problem. It's your framework.
Yeah, and there are three specific things that keep faith-driven women stuck online, and we're gonna dive into each one of them.
Yeah, so the first thing that I had to personally unlearn was branding my company instead of branding myself. And because then I left that company and now everybody just knew me from doing that one thing. And so here's what's important to understand is that people follow a person and they buy and partner with the people that they trust.
Yeah, and then the second problem is trying to reach everyone. When your content could be for anyone, it reaches no one. The algorithm can't categorize it, and the right woman can't find it. So you're really just shouting into a void.
Yeah, and then the third one is the one nobody talks about as often, and it's fear. Fear keeps you focused on yourself and you're like I was mentioning before, what will people think? What if it doesn't work? What if nobody responds? And so that fear-based content now is actually going to repel the exact audience that you're trying to attract.
Yeah, and not only are you then focused on and worried about what people think and the opinions of others that aren't necessarily where you want to be, but when you do that shift from me thinking to them thinking, that's really when everything starts to change. It gives you a mission and a purpose for showing up online.
Yeah, so then we built the abundance influence method.
And it's not a course about going viral or hustle energy. It's really a system for faith-driven women who want to build real influence online, show up authentically, exactly as they are, and turn that influence into income that then funds a life that they're called to live.
So this aim is built on three pillars, and we want to walk you through each one because this is the stuff we wish someone told us, like when we were building at the beginning of our businesses. And so your voice is not your niche. It's not your aesthetic either. It's actually the specific way that you see the world that makes someone stop the scroll and they also think that she's talking directly to me. And you've probably noticed yourself stopping the scroll like, oh, yeah, I relate to that. So that's what you want your content to be like as well. And then finding your voice means stopping that chameleon behavior, right? Just trying to fit in and blend in. It means being willing to maybe say something with conviction, even if it doesn't land with everyone. And the woman who needs you can't find you when you're just blending in and saying the same thing everybody else is.
Yeah, so positioning is the art of making your content feel like it's made for that one specific woman, not a demographic, not a, 40-year-old mom that's, in this area, but a person that has similar beliefs as you. And when she watches your video, she should feel like you've been watching her life. Like you see behind the scenes, like you're reading her mind. This is what makes the algorithm work for you instead of against you. And when you're clear about who you're for, the platform can find her. And when you're vague, it shows your content to everyone and then nobody converts.
And so then the third pillar is like talking about your influence. So the fastest way to build income online is to build your influence first. Not necessarily have to be a massive following, but you're building that real trust with the right people. And again, it goes and pairs with that positioning. So that means you're showing up consistently with the content that actually serves. It's building relationships before you're just making offers all the time and being the kind of person that people want to actually hear from, not just buy from.
Yeah, and when that trust exists, then your selling is serving, and the next step is the next logical thing that they should do. And they're looking for a reason to say yes.
Yeah, so the abundance influence method is going to teach you all three of these and really dive into them: voice, positioning, and then building your influence in a way that actually converts. And so it's just $27 and it's everything we wish we'd had from the beginning. And we put that in the link in the description for you.
Yeah, and we built this YouTube channel for the same reason that we built Abundance Living Co.
So on this channel, you're going to find three types of content. The first is what we call build your influence, right? We're talking about that, the practical content strategy, the personal brand building that you're going to need.
Yeah, and then the second is faith and freedom, the deeper content about what it looks like to build a business as a faith-driven woman Mission first living, priority living, building from calling, not ambition.
And the third is just real talk. Like we want to be real and raw with you behind the scenes of what we're actually building, what's working, what isn't, because we believe transparency will build more trust than just a perfect highlight reel all the time.
Yeah, and every video is really built to give you something, not fluff, not surface level tips, content that actually moves something for you and gives you some tactical steps.
Yeah, so if you're still watching, you already know this channel is for you. So we want you to subscribe. We post every week, and we love for you to just be a part of this community. And so be sure to also just like leave comments, let us know what you're thinking. If you have questions, we'd love to hear from you.
So below this video, you'll find the link to our free resource. It's your next step. And if you're ready to go deeper, the Abundance Influence Method is $27. It's the system behind everything that we teach.
And if you want to learn more about how we fund this life, the mission, the trips, the travel, the freedom, there's also a link for that too. And we'll just let the system speak for itself. So we'll see you in the next video. Welcome to Abundance Living Co. And you're in the right place.
See you next time.